Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Everybody's in the right spots, and we're all ready to play. I'm going to just repop this in chat since all the other stuff was just spamming beforehand. Nobody else dropped any more aids, which is thank you, because we did say no more. Jake has to suffer. He is unable to roll well. So, but Jake, in the future, just let's get back to the game, but in the future, could you just do me a tiny little favor? Can you roll like that when I say roll me a will save? Because that would make my life so much easier. They're just rolling above 15.
I got some coming up, don't I?
Rolling above a 15 for all of your will saves throughout the entire campaign, always, when you have a good modifier, is just infuriating. So I'm going to say if you can't start rolling like that on will saves, I'm going to start asking chat to community curse you.
Macro.
Well, they're going to community curse you during will saves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Community curse.
Oh.
Do you think that's appropriate to ask?
Listen, chat.
No, I invested feats into being able to do that, but you know,
Spirit
it's fine.
bomb,
Just
chat.
cuck me.
Just give me all the power.
I think I got a good print screen of that.
Nice.
I'm afraid what's going to go up in my hands.
Yeah.
I got the whole world in my hands. All right. Cool.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, God.
It's glorious. Let me just send this one to Josh.
Oh no. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Josh
Back on the
probably
western side of Idir, just outside the keep over in the west, we have Ilan just had by the way, Tesh, people were saying something about you rolling a terrible will save last week.
Yeah.
Which I think that they were wrong with their understanding or math or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
So I was wrong with my math.
It was the fear.
Huh?
Yeah.
Was it the fear he was afraid of?
Yeah.
Something he ran away?
I never added, I never realized in Pathfinder you have to manually upgrade your saves as you go, as you level.
Oh.
So I wasn't doing that. So I had a +1 when I now have a +7.
So I'm looking at your will save. To be fair, though, your will save that you rolled was a 4 total. You rolled a 3 + 1.
Oh, it would have failed anyway.
It would have been a 10. You would have failed anyways. Exactly. Like you were fine. So I think it was Celsier that first pointed it out, and a bunch of people jumped on as well. Thank you to Celsier. If it wasn't Celsier, we're giving him the credit anyways. And we're gonna give Cel the credit anyways, because Buck like the fuck. And
it's
a 10 wouldn't have passed anyways. Perfect. So back on the other side of Idir, you literally just had the light nodule mote, whatever to call it, re-enter into you. You can feel all of your power coming back to you that was gone for a few moments. Your fear is subsided. That was there moments beforehand. Rayron turns to Jaden and said to her, "You just stay here. We'll take care of this." And then across the field, you hear as Mog starts running in from clearly realizing, oh, the plan changed. Starts running in from behind and hacking through the knolls that are before him with his axe. Now, they're wrong. It is exciting to have combat, but let's be honest. You have 2 level 8 characters and Mog, who is not low level himself either, against 20 gnolls. Gnolls aren't very tough creatures. We can just simply agree that gnolls are CR1 creatures. They have an AC of 15, 11 health.
HP. How much HP?
11 HP each. So even one AoE effect would wipe out a fourth of them in one go. It's one of those
These
things
are the
where
fucks that tore us apart.
if you guys are fighting the tribe, that'd be one thing, but to fight just this group of them that are here, needless to say, I'm sure your characters take scratches and like nicks and whatnot along the way that Alien can easily heal with a healing light or bomb. You tear through them with relative ease. The only danger that might come your way is I score a critical hit, to which the maximum damage I could possibly do is 11 times 2 is 22 points of damage. Which, sure, to somebody like Rayron, who can't roll a lot of health points, might be scary, but to everybody else is not that bad.
It
Or
would
to
have been
Ilan
half
with his
my health
12
if someone
AC.
hadn't let me roll well.
So
That reminds me, do we gain that health right now? I know we gain the max, but do you instantly gain 10 hit points as well?
oh no, I don't do it if it's in the middle of like an action, like when you
Cool,
sleep
cool,
or
cool.
whatever.
I
yeah.
didn't change that. I just wanted to be sure.
Change the max, not the current. Yeah. So, anyways, your characters, of course, are going to cut through them, but the whole point of this combat was for her to come here and her to live out her vengeance. That is something that she needed to do, right? But you've specifically asked her to step back, and honestly, with how weird she feels and everything she just went through, she listens to that step back. Mog's approach to things is, well, as he said beforehand, he hates gnolls, but he doesn't want to eradicate the non-combatants and the children because he's not a terrible person. So which is why you guys separated them and just took a chunk here. He has no problem tearing through the rest of them. Rayrin, also, I imagine to a degree, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, has a bit of something
I mean, they tore his friend apart.
in front of him. So I imagine he has no problem fighting through them and finishing off the combatants. Also, you're saving your kingdom from problems in the future, are you not?
I mean, if these gnolls were weaker than us, they wouldn't hesitate to tear us apart, eat us. I'm
Correct.
not saying
No,
that because someone else would do something makes it right, but they would do it to anyone. And so we are saving people's lives by stopping them from being able to do that. You can't change
And
that.
hopefully their tribe will move somewhere else when they realize how dangerous it is for them here now.
Terrific. And Ilan,
Yes.
as you just said your phrase right there, I don't know if that was Tesh agreeing with the perspective of Rayrin. How does Ilan
That
see
was,
this?
yes. Well, Ilan doesn't know about the details of what's going on. he doesn't really know why the gnolls were here, or much of what was going on, really. So he just knows what happened with the curing of Jaden, who he doesn't know who that is. Except, you said her name, right?
He
Yes.
did just now. He
Yes.
said, yeah.
So so the curing of Jaden, that's about all I know.
So needless to say,
And Mog.
your characters will all kind of work together to actually take them out, to fight the gnolls and to finish them off. Again, it's not like within a minute's time, your characters are going to be able to cut through them. Mog is able to hit two at once. He doesn't hit light either. Just as a fun fact, I'm going to glance at that, but let's not waste too much time on it. Yeah, Mog's, oh, actually, I don't have it written here, but Mog's average damage is going to be, I think it is, his average damage is 7. So 2 hits and he drops a gnoll with average damage. You know what I mean? And he can hit 2 gnolls at a time. So he could easily start dropping people. And then obviously Rayrin can do significantly more, attack 2 people around easily as well, and so on. Awesome. Your characters make a quick work and a quick display of dropping these gnolls. We'll say the combat goes on for about a minute for you to do so. When everything's said and done, and the last gnoll is kind of on the ground, making its whines or whatever, Mog will come over and, its yips, its whimpers, will come over and pull his axe back out of the thing and look at you and go, so change of plans?
So it would seem.
Oh, by the way, you also had a bird helping you in the combat, a bat helping you in the combat too. Literally picking up a gnoll and dropping it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And he just repeatedly, it seems to take them to the same spot and drops them on this same spot.
Just a
over and
pile,
over.
yeah.
Hide behind the pile of dead gnolls.
And like it's a large size as well, so it's huge. It's a big bat.
Scary boy.
Yeah. So
those gnolls are in a dire situation.
you knew it was going there.
You did. You still let
Okay.
it happen. Just like last night. Right. And he smiles sort of faintly, wiping blood from his sword. So it would seem, blessings of the martyr.
So what exactly just happened?
I went and got a bunch of gnolls for her to go clear herself up so we can kill her. And then, things changed.
More or less. You know nothing about what you just did.
Not really. I heard the martyr. She told me to come. Said someone needed forgiving.
The martyr told you that.
I think so. I'm not 100% on that, but I heard a female voice, and it just felt right that it was her.
I don't know whether you realize this. How do I say this? Ilan, whose voice did you hear? Don't think, just say it.
The martyrs.
Tell me, Ilan, what is my title?
You'll see him like have a big sort of like he would be sort of taken aback when he says that, and just I saw back at the castle. The angel looked at me when it was talking to you two as well. I didn't think that much of it, or I guess I didn't want to think that much of it.
That mote of light that you saw, that came from you.
I've seen that once before. It saved my life and saved the souls of my family.
That is all that is left of Valrin.
Oh. Then that was his voice on that day. He said he set a part of himself for them.
A martyr to the end. We will have to make preparations. I was preparing you for a position on the council, but this is different.
Jaden comes walking up, having pressed herself up off the ground where she was kind of gaining her balance.
Brian would sort of smile pleasantly at her, and sort of reaches vaguely in her direction. I'm sorry to... many things have happened. It's... Are you well?
When you look at her, you can see that she is returned to life as I described beforehand, and I believe I described this beforehand as well. That though she doesn't seem 100% as she was before, clearly time has passed. She's been a rotting corpse for over a year, and then returned to, or about a year, whatever it was, and then has returned as this living creature, this undead creature, and then finally to a living creature. You can see that her hair is wiry, maybe a bit darker than it was beforehand, but still clearly living hair. While it still is very much her face, which is fully formed and doesn't have any scars or whatever that would have been left behind from her time as, how she died and her time as a dead creature. Her complexion seems off from how you remember it. It's not quite as flush as you remember. It's a bit more pale than it was beforehand. Even her eyes seem to be lacking the color that they did before. More of like a gray in the iris than having the vibrant color that they were. But nonetheless, she is very much still standing, living, breathing before you. There's no question in your mind about that. So when you reach out and you ask her the question, my apologies.
He was just like, "Are you well?"
She says, "Yeah, I think so. There was a moment I saw them. I wanted to. I can't help but I rejoiced as the three of you cut them down. But I was able to stay myself. There's almost a practice of self-control. I didn't join you in the fight intentionally. I needed a moment, but also because I could choose not to.
You won. You beat the curse. Raven looks he looks conflicted for a moment, and then I'm sure Ellen would read it. He looks visibly scared. Will you return with me?
She looks around. I don't imagine I have anywhere else to go. You said I've been dead for over a year. I'm fear of the condition the Malta might be in. You said some things, and I remember before, after reawakening, and before, I suppose, returning. But things are foggy, like when you awaken from a dream that you enjoyed, but you're grasping onto the details as they slip through your fingers. It almost feels like my mind is trying to make up details to fill in the memories, just because I don't want to let go of what I remember during that time, but it is slipping.
I wanted you to be happy. I wanted you to be at peace. I didn't lie. I merely stretched the truth. The ice wall holds, and it will hold. We have helped to ensure that. My God, the Arbiter, he struck a deal, and he has supplied it with the energy required to sustain itself for many more years. But Malta will not win if it stands alone. Will you come with me back to Valoran, back to Kurzful? Malta needs soldiers, needs people. Good people, like you.
I don't know if I'm a good person anymore. I don't know what I am anymore. As I said, I don't have anywhere else to go.
Ellen's gonna create some water and just here.
You look dirty.
No. Fuck you, Scott. She said, just she looks pale. I don't know if she might need water or anything. Just whatever happened. Water is something people need.
So she would take the water, and she would drink some and say, "Thank you."
Of course. Nice to meet you, Ellen.
Jaden. No, spelt without a Y, as per the notes by the DM since before campaign started.
It's Jayden, yeah?
Without a Y.
Oh, that's how I've noted it. That's how it's staying.
It's all right. British spell lots of things incorrectly and adding in funky letters where they're not needed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not making the joke. Not live. I'll tell you in the break.
Oh my god.
It was too savage. Scott.
Moving on.
He'd just have to quit. We have things to do. Let us return to Kurzful briefly. Mog, can you make preparations? We can set out for the metal. I need to return. This is pressing. You've traveled through these lands a bit. With the guards, with Hansa. Do you think it's safe? Safe enough that you could make it back? Minimal casualties? No casualties?
I'll do what I can, but I don't know what the fuck's out here.
If you want, I could go with him on this.
No, Ellen. We need you to return for the moment. We need to speak with one. Very well, Mog. Make preparations, but wait. I will return, and we will set out together.
I mean, I'm not afraid or not. I'm just saying I'm not going to make promises to not have anybody
I know
die.
You're not afraid, but there's no point going out there if we don't get the metal.
Hey, listen, I'll go alone. I don't mind.
I think that's probably not particularly wise.
When I travel alone, I can avoid people noticing me. I also don't travel as slow as you lot.
The issue then is getting the metal back there.
Speak with Hansa. Ask her to tell you the location of the metal, describe it as best you can, and then you can go and locate it and return.
Now
No
we're talking.
unnecessary risks. And then we will send the full force and we will collect the metal.
Sounds good to me.
Try not to die.
That's my life.
Then Rayron would like he'd either take Jaden's hand if she's still like a bit spaced.
You could imagine it's one of those things where I imagine you kind of like reach over towards it, roll a sense motive.
Silly Neil, that's the spells thing.
As you reach over towards it, maybe it was consciously or maybe it was unconsciously. Either way, it seemed to almost trigger. She kind of like places her other hand over that wrist that you're like reaching towards, and she almost seems like a little bit more pulled back or reserved. You know what I mean? Like she needs a hot minute. You know.
Rayron would change it from like reaching for the hand for like a beckon.
Yep, like a.
Let's head back. You can have some rest, some time alone. Process everything.
Gotcha. She does come along with you, but hold on a second. I'm going to go visit now.or.nevee. That's a really good website. I hear they have all of the best things there. So yeah, you start going towards the keep. You're actually bringing Hansa and Mog with you because Hansa stayed inside. So Mog's gonna come inside. Ilan's gonna come inside temporarily. Mog intends to have the conversation, and then he'll head out later on this day to go do as requested. He'll be gone for a few days at this point. Yeah.
So Ilan, Rayron, and Jaden will return to Kurzweil. Hansa, the guards, and Mog will stay there for now.
And Mog will go. They'll stay at the keep, and Mog will go get the location of the metal.
Okay. So you guys go back to the keep. It's been a few days, obviously. You know what I mean, since everything kind of played out. And when you come back home, you can actually see yourself as you come back home. What's his name there? One is sitting in the Grishka works as well. Or the Wolf of you guys can see that he's sitting in the throne room. As you come through the portal, he's being contemplative, having just recently finished a conversation with people. With an orc, and sent them to go kind of follow after those. Called to the orc. The orc came a couple hours later on after the others were leaving the city and sent them out. So you can imagine one is kind of sitting there looking, not pensive, but definitely contemplative, as he's thinking about all that he's just heard and all that's just transpired.
One.
You hear from the balcony overhead.
So it's the three of you there?
Two of us, I think.
No.
Jaden's there as well.
Jaden, sorry.
Yeah. So I guess we'll through it, but we might not all be crowded onto the balcony.
One knows her, of course.
Yeah. So he'd probably look up to Rayron and he'd just say, Rayron, I didn't expect you back so soon.
There's
and then he
been
looks
some developments.
Yeah, then he'd look, to Jaden, and he'd stand up, and
The
you'd
map
see
room?
there would be concern in his face. And then he nods, and he'll head to the map room.
Rain would start leading the others to the map room. He would briefly say to Jaden, he'll be like, "I won't keep you long. Just a cursory meeting."
And this is so he's heading up to the map room that you just stepped out of. So are you saying for her to be dismissed from the map room, or you're going to go have a conversation with him?
We're all going to the map room,
Okay.
and then she'll be dismissed shortly. Is
Sure.
what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
He
Understood.
would also summon a servant to get them to prep a room.
Not a problem. So the three of you, so Hansa stays behind for now. She'll join you soon.
No, not Hansa. Jaden.
I understand.
Oh,
Hansa stays
right, yeah.
behind in the
Hansa's
other one.
still
So it's
in
literally just
Western,
you,
yeah.
Ilan, Jaden, and one. Gotcha. You guys are in
Yeah.
the map room.
yeah.
So as soon as the doors kind of close, even before you probably say anything, he'd probably walk up to Jaden, and he'd just say, "You've been dead for over a year." And then you see, like, he's looking at her funny the whole time. And then he switches to Necrol straight away, and he says, "What are you?"
When he speaks Necrol, everybody has that same kind of reaction, as always.
I presume
Jaden-
I recognize this.
Yes, of course.
I've heard him speak Necrol a few times.
Of course, you recognize it, but that doesn't change the initial
Yeah.
reaction to it. Everybody has the same kind of reaction. She doesn't have the same reaction that the other two seem to do, but she does respond saying, "What?" in Perrin.
He'll look to Rayron, because as much as he was speaking to her, he was more speaking out aloud to himself. And he looks at her and he says, she's been gone for a long time. How does she stand before us?"
She was turned into some form of undead creature. The martyr brought her back. Valrin brought her back.
Valorant? What do you mean?
Jaden, you can go to your room. A servant will take you. Have a bath, have a rest. Take your time. My door is open to you whenever you need.
Is it though? Suppose there's no traps on it at the moment.
No, there's no traps on it. No. It's
She
a very beautiful new door, actually.
she nods and says, "There's so much to try to catch up on what we just stepped through. I'll take that time." She says, and she seems kind of distracted, and she's gonna walk off because she's trying to take in. You can tell that she's not balanced on her feet either. She just seems off. She needs time to gather. She clearly went through a very physical ordeal. So
He'll give a look to the servant who's like guiding her to the room, like, you make sure she's looked after. It's like a warning look.
Okay.
And then he'd close the door and turn. Ilan arrived at the behest of the martyr. Midway through my attempt to save my friend from eternal damnation, Mog tells me that she was a revenant. That
I know
she
what
would
that is.
continue to return until her job, her duty, her vengeance was fulfilled. In this case, the slaughter of many gnolls. I was trying to free her from the curse. Valrin did better. She may be changed, but she's still my friend. Even as that thing, she didn't attack me. She listened. She didn't attack anything while she was with me. Even that great and powerful mole king could not resist his urges. She could. That means something. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's also revealed something else. Ilan here is destined to rule at our side. He is a chosen of the martyr and has inherited Valrin. In some aspect, he lives on.
the angel was talking a bit about it. So that doesn't surprise me.
The angel said something.
It did.
He
I
glances
don't
to
remember
Ellen.
what it said, but it said
You
something.
mentioned
I can't
that
remember.
you mentioned that he spoke to you.
Not that he spoke to me, or I guess when he was addressing you both as the chosen, he looked at you both and then he looked at me. I didn't know what that meant then, but I still feel like I'm going to wake up back in the Hard Gwen. It was just another night of I don't know anything about ruling.
Neither does one.
Get a slight smile.
This is one of those things where you do a friendly punch in the face.
My 10
Heal.
HP.
Yeah, you know nothing about fighting.
Ilan, you've been chosen by a god. This is something that you cannot reject. You can deny it. You may not have believed particularly in gods before. I was not devout. I was not. But they exist. And they hold power in our lands and our hearts.
I struggled to see why. Why me? I wasn't a good person. I did nothing with my life.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe. I'll try.
Before we rush into making a proclamation across the land, maybe it would better suit you to take a position formally in the council, speak with our people, and then ease into it, if that is the will of the martyr. And he looks to Rayron, and there's just like a look on his face. Roll sense motive, Rayron.
You can't tell me what to do. You're not the DM.
Oh no.
I don't give a fuck about you right now.
Elliot?
Yeah, you wouldn't pick it up. You just see he's looking at you. Like, obviously, there's something there, but you can't place it.
We set a precedent now. A god has chosen an individual. It has been made clear. Our position as chosen is to be chosen, not to deny others that ability or right. Now that we are aware, Ilan should take his place amongst us.
It is clear that he is chosen. I'm not disputing that. I think it would do both him and the people better if he was to step into the council position for a small amount of time before we make that announcement, just to, for one, not overwhelm him, to give him some time to come to terms with what he is and what is expected of him. But
I
also
disagree.
for our people to come to know him, not just through rumor. We built Valorant. Me, you, and Valorant. There was this keep and nothing else. We built it. I have no problem with Ilan ruling. If it is the martyr's will, it is the martyr's will. But he is not Valoran. He is the hero of Harad. Some say the hero of Hodgwen. Let him be a hero to Valoran as well.
It will seem that we were simply picking him as a chosen. If he enters the council prior to his ascension as chosen, it will simply seem that we were preparing him for this all along. If, however, the whispers spread, the gossip, the hero of Harad, the hero of Hadgwen, he was a chosen. Not, oh, he's joined Valoran. He was a chosen. That is power. That is powerful.
I understand your
It doesn't
point,
have
but
to make... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I understand what you're saying. I feel strongly with my previous comments, but if he is a chosen, then he may break the tie. Ilan, what do you wish to do?
Rerin nods.
You would see panic in his face for a second, just like proper, like he was listening, trying to gauge your opinions about what should happen, because he hadn't even considered his own until that point. So there was just pure panic, and then just as much as I'm terrified of it, I did feel like coming here was right. Something pushed me here before this. I thought it was just that I was meant to be here in this city, in this kingdom, but now I guess it might have been something else, and I see that now. If we do go ahead with this, I will do my best, my absolute best, to live up to it. But I can't go into this pretending like I know anything that I'm doing. But as Rayron has pointed out before, I have instinctively made choices that were that of the leader back in Harad. So I can try and take this role properly.
So you ready then?
Must
I
stop
don't-
speaking of trying.
Yeah, I don't think any extra time would make me any more ready. So yes.
He looks you in the eyes, and there's not much behind his voice, but he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "Welcome, chosen of the hearth." And then you see he kind of staggers a little bit, and he like drops into a chair, and he's just like,
Are you okay?
Was it that much effort to
should
be
be fine."
nice?
No,
there's-
I had a trip to the morgue yesterday.
You did what?
Actually, I think
left-
it was earlier today.
Oh, yeah, earlier today.
I left orders for it to be sealed.
I was told, I spoke with Kithel about it, that you left guards on it, but that I may enter if I wish.
Well, I mean, you are chosen. Kithel's not going to argue with you.
I don't have the
Yeah.
ability to forbid you. My power does not supersede yours, but
Well, all that was said was you had forbid people from going in, and we had visitors as well that required access to the morgue.
If I may, you seem injured or at least hurt in some way. There's
He
something else
does
I
look
should.
weak as fuck right now. He is.
Yeah. So
Whimpers of the wolf of the.
This wolf
Uh,
outdamaged the angel. Just saying.
if given the trust you're placing in me, there is one last thing that I should tell you. I don't know what I am anymore. I guess, and he's going to take off his goggles. And if you've ever seen Dune, he's got bright blue eyes. They're not glowing, but they almost seem like they are because the irises of his eyes are so unnaturally light blue.
Bremen.
And then he's going to extend a hand out to cast whoop on. Is it gonna? Yeah, there it pops on one. And as he does that, as soon as the magic starts flowing, his eyes
Excuse me.
ignite
Excuse me.
with-
Do you have the material component there? The
Oh, is
diamond dust. Diamond dust worth 100
okay.
or 1,000 gold pieces there.
In that case, he would be trying to heal him, so I'll do cure critical, even though it's not actually what's happening.
Not that you'll know now that I have diamond dust.
That's okay.
is
I can get
more
that
the
later.
Equivalent of
The important
200.
part is casting a
Well,
spell that's.
I imagine
healing.
we'll just say that you can do it, so it does work. No, that's fine. So you do it. We'll just
eats the
subtract it
diamond
from
dust from
yeah,
Jake's back.
from Jake's. Yeah, exactly.
He like casts it on him, and he's like, no.
So as
diamonds.
as he
Yeah,
goes
just
to
crushes
cast the spell, his
wedding
eyes
rings.
ignite, and white flame shoots up the side of his head from his eyes, and stays like that for a good deal of time after. And when he looks at both of you, you can't see his eyes, but you can tell when he's looking at you. You can feel it. It's why I wore the goggles when I did. I don't know what I am anymore.
Is there any knowledge checks we can make on what the fuck is going
Yeah,
on?
I'm gonna make a knowledge planes. Actually, could I make a knowledge planes? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah, you're trained in it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
You can go right ahead.
I mean, the only check I have is religion. Can I apply that here?
No, I would say no. With your knowledge planes, I mean, there's not much that you can. It's only a 20, right? This is some pretty high up there knowledge. So I'd say is you definitely are pretty sure that whatever he is or whatever he's gained access to, he definitely has the. It seems to be touched by the planes.
Back in Hardgwen, I was able to speak and read Ignan, but I was also able to read what was a mix of Ignan and something else. The positive plane, radiance, the mix of them. I was able to read that as if it was Perrin. I definitely couldn't do that before.
Not read about anything such as this, but you seem to share a unique connection.
There is
Rayrin, while his eyes are still glowing, Rayrin, he can't help like the scholar in him. He reaches out and he places 2 fingers of the demon arm on Ilan's arm.
I mean, 2 fingers of the demon on Ellen's arm. Cool.
AKA
You
nothing.
gently caress him.
There is
Rayrin will literally, he goes, and then withdraws the hand.
there is also a part of something else. There have been times where I have been filled with a rage that I didn't have before. And I could barely control myself. It's only been 3 times now, but it's happened.
explain?
He's going to hold up his arms that are bandaged right now. And he's going to start unraveling them. And you see his withered hands. Or hand, probably because you only do one. When this happened to me was when he goes to say like the orb or something, and as he stops, he goes, I guess that when Valorant saved me, but I was being consumed by something else.
You are an admixture.
Oh, a what? Sorry. I actually didn't hear what you said for some reason. Everything
You
on my
are
computer
a
stopped.
parent. You were born
Oh.
naturally with Nankaro's curse, the Arbiter's curse, the need for war, for vengeance. Varen sensed that, felt that, consuming you, and settled in residence, balancing it out.
I'm not sure it was him that was consuming me. There was a priestess. She was supposedly of Erevail, but something deeper. The idol that she had another figure. That's actually a good point. I didn't know it then, but I would know it now, wouldn't I?
Which point was that?
What that figure was. The figure inside the idol that got clutched in my hands.
You actually, yeah, you would be able to, of the questions that you would have been asking that figure, the creature over there for, you could have actually asked about that specifically because you obviously know about the fire and whatnot. Like, are you familiar with, you heard the name Kraleen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've actually heard that before. So you could actually ask the elemental about that and it would have responded, Kraleen is the god. She is our goddess.
Okay. Then that's good. Then I'll be able to explain this better. So he, inside her idol was another to Kraleen. I believe she's the god of the fire plane. And when I was being consumed, my arms first, that was when Valorant showed up.
What color were the flames?
He'll actually like ignite a small flame. That color. My flames, when I'm healing, they're different. But when I can produce small flames like this easily, but
I presume that was
whenever
just a
I
normal
do the
red
larger
flame.
ones, pardon?
I presume
Oh yeah,
that's
it's like
just a
a
normal red
normal
flame.
orange flame. Like when I go to do anything larger, I can feel the rage.
It seems that another god has vied for our chosen, it seems.
Well,
Jake's like, shit, I wish I knew this before I would have killed you first. No offense. But
I
Val,
suppose...
let's clean this up. Better one next time.
GG, go next.
No, wait!
Shall we set to an ascension 3 days' time?
seems appropriate. However,
An
I do need
angel
to.
is here. A chosen has appeared.
Does seem rather good timing.
Anyway, I'm sorry to have interrupted. I just felt like I needed to not have any lies.
No,
Given the
I'm
situation.
I'm glad you've been forthright. I was going to ask you about your past anyway. Although Rera and I have taken care of the spectre in the morgue. It drained me terribly to do so, but our chosen here has seemed to invigorate me. I feel better than I did before. Thank you, Ellen.
You took care of it
I did. It was like nothing I've ever seen before.
on your own.
The angel helped.
I see.
The
More
power I felt
my
from that
angel,
basement.
the angel and myself seemed to take care of it. However, there were others that tried to assist,
Yes,
which
both
leads me back
others.
to what I said before. While I was out observing the angel fighting alongside it when I could, we came upon a group of really, there were other strange bedfellows. There was a Maltese from a Malta and a Perrin commander together.
Prisoners?
No, working together. As well as a lady, a Perrin lady. She informed me that the thing we had in the basement that we didn't really know what it was is something they call a loper. And this kind has infiltrated Peridel. They're apparently extremely powerful. If anything, they're dealing with the essence or whatever that was, spirit or something of one, was truly frightening. But we overcame it. Though I'm not sure what to make of the news on these lopers. But the stranger thing to me once again was the Maltese and the Perrin commander, who apparently is a friend of our general's. They're out to prove these things exist, or something of the like. It seems that the Maltese and the Perrin woman knew a bit about them, but the commander wanted to see for himself, like he hadn't seen one before.
I'm sorry, you said a parent officer, and now it's a commander?
Well, he said commander from the beginning, yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where was I?
Sorry.
He wanted to see for
they've,
himself. Like he's never seen one before.
Yeah. They have asked for some assistance, and I've sent one of the orcs to guide them. They wish to go to where it was killed, to Strahd.
To Strahd?
Yes.
How many guards?
I've only sent the one orc.
Uh,
I was given two conflicting things. The Perrin commander asked for guards. The Perrin woman, who seemed to be the one in the know, requested no guards. So I sent one of the orcs because, they have experience with dealing with the undead throughout the lands.
correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. I learnt that Strahd had been wiped out in the Hardglen meeting. Right, yeah, so good. That wasn't... So Ilan would just... Wait, they want to go to Strahd? In
Yes,
Hardglen, they mentioned Strahd's gone.
It is gone. They want to go to the place where this thing died.
But what I mean is it was wiped out by the undead.
Yes, and they've gone anyway.
No, you guys didn't know that before. You guys knew that Strahd had that huge battle, lots of dead people, and that undead rose was probably not good. Tesh is for the first time confirming to you, yeah.
It's gone. Yeah.
Okay. You would see like a look in one which is more like, makes sense. You know what I mean? There was a big battle there and everything rose from the dead.
Do you trust this parent woman?
No. She seemed to offer information, but she was still vague. Even we made a deal and she was to tell me more about these so-called lopers, which she did, but I can tell she's still holding back. Which, I mean, she said as much.
It seems peculiar that she would request no guards. You said it was 3 of
Yes.
them traveling. A Paradel commander, an Amalty soldier, and an unknown entity.
The Paranorman, yes.
She gave you a reasoning. I don't know if you care to share that, though.
What was the reason? It was so they could run away or something.
Yeah, in case she needs to slip away, because clearly she thought he was an idiot.
He would just stay there then. That's why.
I see.
Though I sent the orc with the orders to escort them part of the way, and just to shadow behind, make sure everything was right before reporting back.
It might be worth to send a few more guards. It wouldn't be good if a Paradel commander entered our lands and disappeared.
Well, it is Idir. It's probably not the first time it's happened.
Yes, but the curse no longer protects us. Neither does Nankara.
As a reminder, because it was a few weeks ago, real life time, he did say he was here on personal matters as opposed to being commanded to do so. But that doesn't change the fact of what Neil's saying. Just to remind you, Jake.
Yeah.
Saving the life of a commander, or even having them indebted to us, could become useful at some point. I hate to view this person as simply a tool, but you said they know Leon? The man is
Yes.
as straight as a yardstick. We can presume that he will attempt to repay any favors.
Yeah, I mean, I've sent the one, but the one with the information is the woman. I've met in the middle. I've not sent a couple of guards as he requested, and I have not sent none as she. These things are apparently infiltrating Paradel, leading from inside, and the population is oblivious, as seems maybe all of us are, as to what these things are. What's to say that he's not one, really?
What's to say that these things are evil?
She did say that these things seem to be what's pushing Paradel in the direction they're going.
Perhaps, though I personally believe that that was the Arbiter's justice, which has been, for lack of a better term, forgiven.
It's possible that maybe these things used that part of what the Arbiter had left them with before and preyed on that to push them.
I would not disagree with you, Grishka. I would meet in the middle. If we sent 2 scouts with 3 horses, if they were able to pick up the commander, should he be abandoned in Ostrad, we would earn his favor. A favor from a Paradel commander.
Yeah. If that's what you wish, I really don't have
I
the
think
mindset for this right now. If you wish to send more, send more. They've left, however long ago they left.
If they have left,
Several hours ago.
Yeah.
if they have left and we do not find them, then so be it. If we manage to save his life, then he is indebted. If he dies in our lands, whether they are our lands or not, Paradel will see us all as Idir, as Idirian.
and if he is
Realistically,
as
it's about not long till Paradel is within again anyway. I tried to not play up, but I tried to make it very clear why Paradel have not taken Idir to him.
Good.
I told him about the curse on the land and such, but like you said, if I don't know.
We
And
will
just shakes his head.
dispatch those riders. It may prove useful to the commander and may earn us some favor. You said there was one of my kinsmen. Why
Yes,
was an Amaltese soldier traveling with two Perrin?
To prove the existence of these things.
If anything, that shows that it's definitely a good idea. Because if he's willing to not strike down the Amaltese just based on being Amaltese, he's probably honorable enough to, if we save him or if we help him, to repay that.
True. However, he's also here personally. He's not ordered. He's not supposed to be doing this, which I found strange. The Amaltese, I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if he's in. If he's here on order of the rulership in Amalta or of his own volition. But what was his name? Cadus. He is here because he wants to be, not because he is supposed to be.
Wonder if that. Well, it's either a deserter or someone sent from the higher ranks. Leaving a Malta is not a commonplace thing, at least not on official orders.
Yes. Very well. Send the 2 riders with the 3 horses. I know general direction of where they were going, and see if they can't find them.
Personally, please be nice to Jaden. She's been through a lot.
Of course. She is changed, though.
Aren't we all?
True.
Ilan,
Yes.
you have some light reading to do. Please make yourself familiar with all of the laws.
Yeah.
Elliot wrote them.
Uh-oh.
It's like a poem. It's
I'm
just
gonna
like
take this.
prose.
Can I just get like the too long didn't read version?
There you go.
Oh, they're beautifully written.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Holy shit.
as Dogsy would say, chef kiss.
I don't know what that means. Awesome. So back in Hardgwen. It's been days, obviously, since you went there, and you guys have been spending your time researching what you can down in this temple. You obviously didn't just drop what's her face off and just dump her there and leave. You would occasionally pop in and out to check on what's her name, Ravina. Thank you, Ravina. And you would actually see that, as of and obviously, what's his name there? Kithel was here as well with, sorry, so many names. Guinevere. Trying to figure out how to cut the stone in a focusing way. They were able to eventually cut that stone into a focusing way and get it prepared for the Slumbering Queen. The Slumbering Queen was then able to grab that stone and utilize it successfully, actually, to take the curse off of Ravina. When you last checked on her, this was just one of your trips through the town yesterday, as you guys kind of finish up your questions. And honestly, at this point, you don't really need to be there anymore as of yesterday. With the elemental, you kind of already asked the questions you needed to, but it was nice to spend time with the creature and whatnot, because you do feel a little bit homesick away from your people. And Elliot's honestly not bad company. So it's fun to stretch your tongue, I guess, speaking the different languages. So anyways, when you did swing by yesterday, say afternoon or so, you saw that she was better. When you saw her prior to that, honestly, she was immobile. She was in bed. She was not doing well. Most of her time she was spent sedated, pressed into a sleepy, dreamlike state, whatever it was, as you guys had requested for her to be. But eventually she does, she did see her yesterday, and the curse seems to have been lifted and her ailment seemed to have been removed. At that time when you spoke to her, she did inform you that, much to her dismay, they were keeping her there for one more day to make sure that she was still doing all right. She wasn't happy, but nonetheless, and you informed her, well, I'm going to be underneath the bank at the fire temple that's there. Elliot and I are working on something. I say this to cue you up for going forward. She is going to make her way downstairs. You can, of course, hear the clacking of her heeled boots as she makes her way down and into the fire chamber long before she arrives, choosing, of course, not to be light-footed. And when she comes into the room, as again, if you let Elliot do so, he will stay here forever. He will never leave this place, because to him, even one tiny little nodule of knowledge is something that needs to be written down and recorded for all of time. Because, you know, Elliot. She comes down and makes her way into that room. Actually, I do want to roll me a charisma check.
It's the flat charisma.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, and you guys get along pretty much the entire time we were down there and blah, 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 blah. So she comes downstairs and makes her way into the room. Where she walks down, the way she kind of like opens up conversation is, well, it's nice and toasty down here. I wish somebody had placed my bed inside this chamber rather than where I was stuck.
I don't know if you would have liked that. Are you being facetious?
I'm being facetious.
Oh, I can't always pick up on that.
Though honestly, truth be told, it would have been nice to not have to rub elbows with everybody around me.
Well, at least they did the job and got you better. How do you feel?
Like hell, but I'm no longer trying to go and falsely accuse myself for things I never did.
He'll nod to that and say, do you want to go back to the castle now?
I very much would. We all have things that we were working on.
Mhm.
We need to go in and finish things up. I also need to explain to the Chosen the technicality by which they were utilizing that curse to make me admit guilt, something I never actually did.
I'll nod to that, and I'll look over at Elliot and say, well, Elliot, we should escort her back.
Yeah, sure. I've just got a couple more details I need to write down over here.
The temple will be here when we come back, Elliot. Come on.
But I just, a couple more minutes?
He'll look at Ravina, look at him, look at Ravina. I don't think Ravina would be too happy with that.
Elliot, I will set your books on fire. He's like,
See?
he kind of collects them, gets them together, starts mumbling to himself about how specifically the parchment that he used is flame retardant anyways, but still believes that she would be willing to put in the extra effort.
His food's here.
I didn't do it. I was she was commenting on how I was like, oh, she always makes breakfast on Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and just like get the pans and stuff out and get things out and get it ready for her so it's nice and easy. And she's like, making requests now, are we?
It's very presumptuous of you, Scott.
Thought I was being nice. Like,
If you would have been nice if you said, hey, would you make me breakfast?
She was
said
sleeping.
yes, and then you
she was sleeping at the time.
should have asked her last night.
I'm not asking her at 5:45 in the morning. But anyways, look.
Elliot starts collecting his things and we leave, I assume.
Yeah. Well, like grumbles.
Okay. I leave behind my Eidolon. I say for it to keep company with the elemental, and also if anyone comes down here, let me know.
Not a problem. You do so. Do you guys do you straight leave? Do you swing by to speak to the people that lead this location at all? What are they called? The council at all, or is it just one of those you're on your way out?
I think it's more like a we're on our way out. If we pass by anyone of importance or even like a building of importance, I might pop in just to say we're leaving, but it wouldn't be like out of our way type of.
I mean, if you don't go, if you go directly from A to B, you're welcome to do so. You don't, unless you swung by to look by anything. That's fine. You can just go directly from A to B. Cool. You can head by there. I would say downstairs you do have what's their names? Guinevere and Kithel are inside the room. And again, just because this is like 2 doors down, or actually you walk by the door literally to go into the portal room, you actually pop your head and see that they're sitting there and they have like various bits of tools and whatnot. Where literally Kithel's has almost, imagine kind of like a vice or whatever it's designed to hold gems. Something sitting there, and he's got this strange kind of almost like a chisel or blade, trying to work the stones, trying to cut them. Whereas Guinevere is next to him, going, "No, Kithel, I'm telling you, this right here, it's meant to be like a grind, like a little grinder. You know, you put a blade to." The thing down here, it has air that pushes through and it spins it. Why are you using that and not this? And Kithel is just kind of like, I like doing the old way. She's like, but this would be so much faster and it's going to come out a much cleaner facet. Kithel, come on, you got to do it this way. And he just kind of like gives her a look and then looks past her and sees you there. I'll give you a bit of a nod.
Yeah, give a nod. Like we're heading back. We're bringing Ravina home.
So he looks and says, it looks past and kind of like Ravina will give a bit of a wave, and he can turn to Ravina and check and see if she's okay, and she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I don't know if there's anything else you guys cared to say to them, or if you wanted to pull them with you, but otherwise they're going to stay here and continue working on this.
I would let them stay there and continue working.
Perfect. Awesome. So you are going to head back into the portal and go through to the other side. Funny enough, you literally appear, because everything's kind of like the way it all coordinated. You literally appear. They're kind of like finishing up their meeting, and it's one of those things where what's his face there? One you imagine is the first one to go leave the room. Be nice to Jaden. She's my friend. And then you guys get up, and one goes to grab the door. And as he's pulling the door open, he feels that strange feeling, pulls the door open, and sees you staring at him. Hey, you're all staring at each other. And now that we finally brought the party together, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. And
we're all together. Meh, 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 meh.
Sorry, chat. Sorry.